Hello. It's my first day. Joe, it feels like in terms of names you could have on your resume when the career's all said and done, Israel Adesanya might be one of the best that you could have available to you. Is that how you're feeling going into this fight?
Yeah, no, he's the greatest middleweight of all time, in my opinion. So yeah, it's a great opportunity. It's a great privilege to be able to do what I do and be able to say that I fought one of the best in the world. So I really look at this as a win-win, and I'm honored that I got this opportunity. Could have been anybody else, but it's me.
What makes him the best middleweight of all time, in your opinion?
I just think if you look at Anderson Silva, who was also one of the best, I think the modern era of the MMA fighter is now, and from year to date, I think Israel has beat the more complete MMA fighters, and just the way that he did it, I think he was so dominant. Obviously, Anderson Silva was, but like no disrespect to guys like Stephen Bonner or Forrest Griffin or Rich Franklin, but they weren't at the level that I think MMA fighters are today. So that's why I tip the cap to Israel as the greatest middleweight of all time.
You're always a very confident guy. I don't think you get overawed in these sort of situations, but do you anticipate a moment where you're actually facing off in the cage and being like, fucking hell, it's Israel Adesanya? Are you expecting that?
No. I've never been that guy. It's never really happened to me. It could have happened to me with like KG or in my debut, like realizing I'm in the UFC, but it's just, I don't know. Things like that don't happen to me for whatever reason. It's a good thing, Israel's a man, breathes air, bleeds blood. I respect him. I care about the guy. I've met him a few times. I think he's a real good dude. And I don't know him personally like that, but yeah, I got nothing bad to say about him.
You've obviously spoken this week a lot about your personal life changes. Curious, what made you want to talk about that with us, media, and the public?
I think if you've made true change and this is really how you choose to live your life, then you shouldn't be afraid of anything that anybody has to judge about your life. And I really feel like the change has come within my soul, and it's a beautiful thing. It sets a man free. I feel reborn. I feel reinvigorated. I feel like this isn't that big to me anymore. It used to be all or nothing. I used to be captured by anxiety, addiction, and just trapped within my own mind. So it's very important, not just for you guys here, but for the world to hear and on your platforms, if you guys choose to release it. I know it's like a finicky thing to be able to talk about faith for whatever reason in this country or just in the world with the way everything seems to have been going. So God has restored my life, and I feel like a born again believer, and yeah, I don't want to be a bad person anymore. I think this gives me a true compass on how to be a real man.
You say about not being a bad person anymore. I don't want to delve like into your personal life, but the stuff that we know about, right? Some of the comments you've made that got you backlash in the past, or those sort of things. Do you look at those as examples of being a bad person, or do you think, no, that's sort of separate to what I'm talking about?
No, those are examples of being a bad person. Whether I felt I was right or I was wrong, it doesn't matter. It didn't need to be said. But I wanted to say it because I followed what my ego and what my heart thought was right. And sometimes the heart is the biggest deception and deceiver that you can have. And, I have my justifications for why I've said what I've said. It's not like I just came out of the blue saying these things, but just handling things with a little bit more grace now. And I don't have to comment on everything that makes me upset. I don't have to give energy or life to everything that makes me upset. I live a privileged life. I live a great life of opportunity. Look at where I'm sitting. Look at who I'm fighting. And look at the life that I've lived and where I'm at from the life that I've been able to survive and still make it to here. So I don't think any of that's possible without God directing and being in my life with the people, particularly He's put around me. And I'm just very grateful that I never hurt myself and I never took myself off this planet from being that selfish. So, yeah, man, it's a true change in my life. And my girlfriend, Ashlyn, helped me come to know God to a whole nother level I never felt was possible. And feeling the presence of God is special.
Thank you.
Joe over here. So kind of on that note, like we see you here, you're very calm and like it seems like a different mentality sort of going into fight week, but how do you flip that switch when you step into the cage and you turn into sort of this, the killer and the aggressive fighter? Like, how do you find that balance?
Yeah, I think that's been the most asked question revolved around like my change, right? But it's I know what I'm doing, and I've always been a competitor. I've done this long enough that I know how to turn that switch, and that's what I believe about. One of my buddies, Ryan Del Grande, told me, which I was super against and fought him on it as I was trying to, chase my faith and everything, was that we're all actually bad people, and we need a moral compass, being God and faith, to actually allow us to have the opportunity to be good people, which is why you have to teach your children not to hit each other, not to be jealous. We all naturally are jealous, envious, greedy, and we have to be taught not to do those things. So I naturally will always have that anger in me, that hurt, that desire to hurt somebody. It's just a part of being an imperfect human, especially with how long I've done this and how long I've competed. So it's not going to be any different, except the only difference will be that I'm fighting for the love of my life and our future and our family, and even her family, as they've taken me in and been there, unconditionally. So yeah, I'm fighting for her, us, and our future.
I want to go all the way back to you getting this fight. What was your reaction when you found out you would be fighting Israel Adesanya? Because I think a lot of fighters wanted that fight. It's a big name in the division. Were you surprised at all to get this fight?
I wasn't surprised, because I don't like. Was there more people deserving than me on paper? Absolutely. I'm not stupid, but I put myself in this position, I think, because I get finishes I'm exciting to watch, and I'll go for broke. And I used to say very harsh things and crazy crap. Hopefully this guy doesn't suffer from a suffocation from going down the wrong windpipe. But yeah, man, I wasn't surprised, but I'm very grateful for the opportunity. Originally they were trying to get me with Paulo Costa, and I wasn't a fan of that, just because of how inconsistent his career has been with actually making the fights and missing weight and all this other stuff. Like, I wasn't in the position, still I'm not in the position until, obviously we got on a new contract and everything to possibly not fight. I want to be active. I've had a lot of injuries. So I can't really afford to not fight. And yeah. So okay. I'm grateful for it. Thank you.
And we talked about all the accolades that Israel Adesanya has. You spoke very highly of him. How do you prepare for a striker like him that's so high level? Do you bring fighters in? Is it a game plan thing? Like, how do you deal with someone like Adesanya?
Yeah, he moves a lot. He's a chess player. He's not an egotistical guy. When he's in there, he's really trying to use his skills as a way to dismantle you. So one of his greatest attributes is his distance management. And he's downloading the whole time. So, if he's able to make you bite here and make you bite again, then he goes. So he goes after he gets some reads. And so, yeah, it was a little bit frustrating at the camp. Obviously, I had those days. I'm fighting a guy who is constantly moving, constantly feinting, super long, super tall, and isn't going to stay in the pocket too many times and trade blows. So yeah, it is what it is. I think every camp is hard, but I brought in tall people. I did the best that I could. I trained my butt off, and made a best man win Saturday night.
I know you're different fighters, but what did you make of his performance against Imavov in his last fight? Because there's some school of thought that maybe Adesanya's on the decline. Others say that, it's just he got caught and you sort of finished that way. Like, what was sort of your assessment of his performance in that fight?
Yeah, I think it's exactly that. He got caught, and I know everybody's like, oh, he lost 4 of his last 5, but 3 of his
pretty good opposition though, right?
Yeah. 3 of his 3 fight skid is literally number 1, I think, is Imavov. Number 2 is DDP. And then number 3 is Strickland. All 3 of the guys that he lost to are still above him, and he's number 4 now. Mm-hmm. So, give the guy some grace. He's done a lot in the sport. I'm not going to sit there and pretend like that's motivation for me because he's on a 3 fight. It's a record. Like, I don't care about his record as far as I'm concerned. I'm 0-0 against him. He hasn't beat me. I haven't beat him. It's a totally different fight, totally different challenge. And the reason I believe that is true is because I have an equalizer in both of my hands, that God has given me a gift that I can beat any man on any given night, just don't get clipped. So I don't make too much of his losses. I think he's still one of the best.
And just last one for me, you referenced Sean Strickland, obviously big opportunity against Chimaev coming up here pretty soon. What do you make of that fight? Obviously styles make fights. It's going to be, I think, a different fight than what we saw against Chimaev and Dricus du Plessis. How do you see that fight unfolding?
I don't know. I didn't really think too much about it, but I'm happy that Sean Strickland's getting the opportunity. I'm Team USA still. And yeah, I hope he wins. I think he's got a good opportunity. I think he's got good takedown defense. I think he's got good get-ups. I think he's got a real opportunity to win. So best of luck to Sean Strickland, and I hope he wins.
Hey, Joe. We talked a little bit yesterday, and you kind of said, you know, if it goes this way, if it goes my way on Saturday, then it was part of the plan. But if it goes the other way, that's part of the plan too. And like sometimes we don't hear fighters kind of talk about that mentality of being okay if it doesn't go their way. Do you think, like, has that affected your mentality going into the octagon, or do you think it makes you more dangerous knowing the fact that you've accepted it could go either way?
No, I think it makes me more dangerous because I'm not sitting here battling my mind trying to control every result to be a positive. You know, you're going to have negative thoughts, you're going to have doubts, you're going to have all this crap that comes into your mind. It's just a matter of how you filter it. And yeah, like I said, I feel like I've been truly set free to where it's like I can't control anything but right now. Like I can't worry about Saturday night because right now I'm sitting here doing an interview talking to you guys about what's really changed in my life, something that really has brought me to tears every single day for the past 5.5, 6 weeks. And yeah, I feel a true conviction to just let go of everything and trust God's plan. Like that's truly just where I'm at. And you know, we'll worry about the fight Saturday night when it's the day to fight. But right now we worry about doing interviews and having a good time and enjoying this and not riddling my mind with constant concern. Like if I truly trust and I believe in God's plan, win or lose, I just have to go out there and give it my absolute best and face whatever that result is. So that is true freedom. And that's why I said that yesterday with you, which I'm thankful for you, because I think there's a lot of platforms that don't want people to talk about God, Jesus, or our faith. And I'm going to continue to do so, even if it pisses people off.
Appreciate it, bro. And I think you were on the Overdogs podcast probably like a month ago, and you talked about Bo Nickel, and you said, you know, I want to fight this guy. Do you think, like, first of all, has that perspective?
I'm different even from that interview.
Yeah, I was just going to say, because like at the time, did you think you saw some things about Bo Nickel that maybe you saw in yourself, like that you didn't like about him, or what was the?
I just think I was doing that interview out of my ego still. You know, it's I don't have any ill will with Bo Nickel. I wish him the best. And he's fighting one of the guys that I train with, Kyle Dawkins. I'm glad Kyle Dawkins got that opportunity. I think it was just more or less like I was so fragile that when Bo Nickel said he would beat me easy, it was like I couldn't let it go. And I had to tell him when I saw him in New York when Sean was fighting Michael Morales, like, yo, you say something, you got to say it to me. Look, I know I can fight, man. If anybody wants to find out, I'm not hard to find. That's just what it comes down to. So if you got something to say about me, come say it to my face. I'm still here. You know what I mean? Like I'm in the UFC. If you want to get busy, I'm here. We can get sturdy, dog. So I definitely ain't running from anybody, and I'm not afraid of anybody in this division. I think they should be afraid of me because I have devastating power, and the only way you're going to take that away from me is if you catch me first. So I ain't got no ill will with him. I retract my statements on wanting to fight him. I'm above that. And if he works his way into the top 15, let's get busy. Let's go.
Joe, over here. You've talked about your power. Is there any other area that you think you have a clearest advantage over Izzy?
100%. My jiu-jitsu game, my wrestling game, 100%. I'm the better jiu-jitsu player. 100%. I'm the better wrestler. He's got good defense, but you never see him offensively wrestle. I'm sure he's got decent jiu-jitsu, but it's not my level. That doesn't mean that I'm going to be able to use it. It's obviously I got to be able to get the fight to the ground if I'm going to use it. But you know, it's really going to depend on what he's giving me. And if I'm able to make clean entries, you know, because he does have good defense. It's not like he was a world champion for no reason. I'm not saying I can just go out there, out grapple this dude and do whatever I want to him. I have to earn those things. I'm very aware. But I do believe that I am by far the better jiu-jitsu player if I'm able to get it there. So yeah, I have a lot of tools, man. I don't just rely on my power. The only reason I've said so much about my power is because that's what I'm here to do. I want to get knockouts, but at this level, the top of the top, I understand that's going to be a lot harder to get. And the margin for error is a lot less, it's a lot less. I can't be as sloppy as I've been in the other fights for this fight particularly.
And do you see this fight as a breakthrough moment for your name, or just another fight?
It's just another fight, brother.
Okay. And what do you think the division looks like for you over the next year if you win this fight?
No clue. I truly
Okay.
don't know. If I win and I finish Izzy, I could jump to a title. I could jump to a number one contender. If I win a decision, I definitely will have one more. And then it might depend on that performance. If I lose, I still win.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
How much have you watched of Adesanya's title reign, and what mistakes did his former opponents make that you're going to try to avoid?
What mistakes have his opponents that he's beat made?
When he was champion?
I think you're trying to outkick a kickboxer. He's one of the best in the world at that. Man, the guy was 75-4, 75-5 in kickboxing. He fought the best of the best. He fought guys like Alex Pereira. He beat a guy like Alex Pereira. Like, can't play his game, man. He's going to download info and he's going to keep chipping. And, he's a chess player. He's making reads the whole time. He's a very intelligent man. He's more of an intelligent fighter than he is like anything athletically gifted. So, yeah, I think that's just they tried to play his game too much. And then when you saw guys like Jan Blachowicz who mixed it up, who could take, some damage and then guys like Pereira that were bigger than he was at what he does. But, so I think they've made minor mistakes, and the guys that have had success, they don't give him that space. They don't give him that respect. And I'm not going to give him that respect when I'm in there. I obviously respect him, but, in the cage, I got to fight my fight.
And the 25 minutes against Jack Hermanson, is that something that you're using for valuable kind of experience in a main event here? Is that something I guess, the experience from that bringing into the Adesanya fight at all?
Nah, I was sick, bro. It's just what it is. You guys can believe me, don't believe me. I had the worst camp of my life. I trained 2 5-minute rounds for that fight. Didn't have a running program, didn't do anything right. Went out there, fought my ass off, lost, got hit in the eye, couldn't see. Then I just continued to eat jabs and take calf kicks and didn't do anything about it. Was too young for the moment. Had a lot of stuff wrong. Had a lot of congested things in my brain. It is what it is, bro. I lost. Life moves on. So, yeah, I've learned some things. I've matured. I've grown. And even from my recent fight, even though I didn't show up like crap, I still was able to dig deep when I didn't even have to dig that deep, but I was able to just refocus in between rounds and to come out and do what I was supposed to do, which was pressure, land the shot, put him down.
Well, good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Lance Gibson Jr., how are you, man?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing great. Have you kind of been able to think back, going like even like a year ago, you're trying to get a fight. Now you're here in Seattle in your hometown, big fight against Chase Hooper. Like, have you been able to kind of soak all this in? Because this is a big moment for you.
Yeah, just being present in the moment throughout my whole camp. I mean, that's kind of what I really focus on, is being really present. And I'm just grateful for all the opportunities that have presented themselves in my life. So all glory to the God.
How much have friends and family been hitting you up when this came to fruition and you got the fight? Because I know you got a lot of support here.
Yeah, I mean, all my friends back from high school, my family, a lot of people in the city are pretty excited. So yeah, it's going to be awesome. I can't wait.
Yeah, and probably a mixed reaction from the crowd, because Chase obviously from here as well too, from Washington State. So it's kind of one of those cool matchups that came together. Now, I spoke to Chase and he said he's pretty familiar with you. Like, you guys would see each other at events. Can you kind of go back to sort of your familiarity with Chase as an opponent?
Not at many events, to be honest. Just at my last couple Muckleshoot cards. A couple of his teammates were fighting at the same time. He was in the back change room. And yeah, kind of just like walk by each other. That was all it really was. But I sense that he thought that he knew of me and knew that I was eventually going to probably be fighting him. So he didn't really say anything. So he just walked by. But it's a sport, it's competition. It is what it is, So here we are now. So.
Yeah, in a lot more ideal circumstances for this fight. You get the full camp, lots of notice. Going back to that fight with Bobby Green, though, like, how valuable was that experience coming into an opportunity like this where, the stakes are a bit higher? Like I said, like, you're fighting here in Seattle and everything. What did you take away the most from that performance that you're bringing into this fight?
Oh, man, there's so much. It's one, I'm super grateful for that experience. And just being in that moment and being able to be in the UFC octagon. Finally, it was just what I imagined my entire life, and it was awesome to feel like it was home in there, and then to be in there with a veteran like King Green. It's like, thing is like, nobody gets that on nobody fights King Green on three days notice. That guy's so unorthodox and very, very good fighter. You could say something about his age, but look at what he just did in his last fight, and I believe I did a really good job in that fight on 3 days notice. But yeah, so I take a lot of experience from that. Everything from the taunting, everything like that. I think it all plays into the theatrics of the fight, which allows you to pull the judges in whatever direction you want them. So.
And won't have much trash talk, I'm sure, for this fight. Chase seems like a pretty polite guy like yourself, so don't really have to worry about that for this one.
No.
Kind of looking at Chase, if you look at some of his losses, it seems like the fighters that are pretty aggressive can go out there, kind of take him out early. Do you look at that and think, maybe you got to change things up, or is it just fight your game and try and win that way?
I think everything's going to play into my game, to be honest. I think his style, he's clever in a way in his style, especially with his grappling and his wrestling. But I think that he makes a lot of the same mistakes that he's made since the very beginning of his career. And I'm just going to expose him, and it could happen by accident. My game plan is to take him out, but it won't really matter where it happens, whether it's on the ground, whether it's like in the clinch, at range, it doesn't really matter. I just think I'm too explosive. I'm too fast. I'm too skilled. I don't really see I don't worry about anything. So, and
then just last one for me, anything different for camp, or is it just, business as usual back home? Did you bring anyone in? Like, take me through sort of how you prep for this fight.
I mean, we did a crazy, insane amount of grappling and preparing for all his leg locks and everything like that. And I've been doing this since I was a baby, so it's not like anything new to me. And it's mixed martial arts. He's been able to do a lot of jiu-jitsu in his fights, more jujitsu, and this is mixed martial arts. So when someone's ground and pounding you and you're trying to go for a leg lock, it's pretty dangerous. So if he tries that, he'll see.
Hey, Lance. I just got a question about like back home. What do you think has changed as far as like the atmosphere and like the BC MMA scene? Because we see like BFL kind of being a feeding point for Contender and things like that. Whereas like growing up back in the day, it kind of felt like we had all these gyms. I know like Gibson's Pancreation's been a staple in BC forever, right?
Yeah.
But we had all these gyms and it just seemed like everybody wanted to be friends with everybody back in the day. Like nobody wanted to kind of turn it up in the gym. Nobody really wanted to be super competitive. And I felt like we didn't get a ton of fighters coming out of BC compared to what we have now. Like obviously we had Rory and Dennis Kang and, you know, guys like that back in the day. But what do you think the biggest difference is back home now?
That's a tough question for me. You know, I think BFL is doing a good job of rallying all their fighters together and kind of promoting it and doing the media and everything like that. So it's able to kind of really hype it up a lot more. And I believe back in the day, I was pretty young, but back in the day, a lot of times my dad would be taking people out to TKO in Montreal and fights in Alberta and fights kind of everywhere else. So it was like, I don't think there was like a main staple of specifically British Columbia competition with each other, everybody fighting each other. I think there were obviously in the evolving of the sport, it's gotten like to where there's less like heavy mismatches. So sometimes you would see like some guy that was way too experienced fighting a guy that never fought before or something like that. Back during that times, because people would try to set up fights to try to get to the UFC or to a big show before. But now it just seems like there's a bit more organization, I guess. The sport's evolved and BFL's done a good job with that.
Were you a Grizzlies fan or a Supersonics fan?
Oh man, I think I love the fact that there's the Grizzlies, but I was always a Sonics fan. That was like my thing since day one. Sean Kemp, Gary Payton, and then Rashard Lewis and Ray Allen. That was like my go. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then if you could give me we'll go top 5 current Canadian MMA fighters. Who would you put up there? We'll give you a couple extra if you want to include a couple others.
Top 5. Oh man, that's tough. Okay. I think Mike Malot's well in like period, like in history right now. Okay. I'd say Mike Malot's extremely good. Obviously he's fighting Burns on the Charles Jourdain impresses me every single time I go out there. He goes out there, and I've seen him fight since back in TKO before he was in the UFC, and he was exceptional then. Who else? I mean, we got a lot of girls from BC that are good fighters as well, like Lupe Godinez and Jamie Horth, and then I mean, Mandel Malo, he came from Bellator when I fought as well. He's extremely skilled striker, so I think he's up there too as well.
How has being on a card headlined by a former champion affected the energy in your camp?
Well, you know what's really crazy? Adesanya is such a good person in general, but back when I was fighting in Bellator, prior to coming to the UFC and prior to the sale and everything like that, he like messaged me and he started following me back then, and he was like, "Oh man, like your story is amazing. You got your father that fought in the UFC," and he reached out to me randomly, and I'm like, "Wow, this is awesome." It's like a genuine person, and it's just awesome to have that full circle moment where he's fighting as a headline, and it's like I see a lot of myself in him in the way he fights, but also in the way he carries himself. So I think it's just been amazing.
And in coming to the UFC, what is the biggest mental adjustment you've had to make to your game?
Not a lot, you know, just going in there and enjoying what I love to. This is what I love to do. This is what I've done since I was like. This is the same as me like waking up and brushing my teeth. This is like, there's no question. This is what I love to do. So, you know, it's just the platform's where I want it to be. So I get to do what I love to do on the platform that I want it to be on. And yeah, it's a blessing.
And when fans leave the arena, what do you want them to remember about your performance?
Intelligent, skilled, explosive, and dangerous.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Is part of you excited to tangle with Chase Hooper's ground game a little bit? Or if you see him on his back inviting you into his guard, do you say, no way?
Oh, I've trained to be in his guard for the whole time and basically not allow him to set up any submissions and smash him from in the guard. So I think it'll be risky because this is mixed martial arts. It's not jiu-jitsu. Pulling guard's not a good move for the most part. And nobody's just allowed to make him pay. I believe that his skills are good though, but I've prepared for it all. So it doesn't matter where the fight goes. I'm ready.
Do you expect him to kickbox at all, or you really think?
Absolutely. I think he's going to start that way, exactly how he starts in every single fight. He throws lots of kicks, throws too many kicks, and then I'm gonna sit him down, and then he'll be on his back, butt scooting, and then I'll smash him from there as well.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Hey, Macy, welcome to Seattle.
Hello, thank you.
So as far as you getting this fight with Alexa, like when did you find out? And was this a fight you were sort of expecting after your last one?
I found out like a couple of days after I fought Kareen, and it's a fight that I've been calling for after like every single win. So it didn't really matter when it came. It was just something I've been calling for years, and the timing worked out, and I'm just very thankful. So I'm very happy to be here, and yeah.
It's good. What have you made of her last couple of fights? She's been fighting some really good opposition. Obviously, Valentina Shevchenko, Natalia Silva hasn't been able to come out on top in some of those performances. Do you think that speaks more to her competition, or do you see her, on a bit of a decline heading into this fight?
I think a little bit of both. I think that, she's always trying to fight the best. And also, she's also fighting, again, she's trying to fight the best. And those girls are coming out on top. Valentina is not someone that, isn't a bad fighter. Valentina is a great fighter. And they had several back and forth fights, and Valentina came out on top. And then Natalia Silva is also a good fighter, but she just had a different style that I don't think Grasso was able to, get the victory over. And so I think it's very frustrating for Grasso. And I think that this opportunity for me is very good because, coming off of those losses, I think she's going to be very hungry, and I think she's going to be her best version of herself. And I'm ready to face that. And I'm very excited. I don't want to fight someone who is, I guess it's both, because if you're fighting someone who's like super confident, and you're also fighting someone who's like super hungry. So like if she was on a tear, she'll be super confident, and if she's on a losing streak, she's also going to be coming out hungry. So either one is both very dangerous. So I'm prepared for the best version of Alexa Grasso that we'll see.
And how do you look at the fighter that fought Alexa the first time to the fighter we're talking to today? I know there's been a lot of improvements, especially with your striking. Like, how different of a fighter are you?
I am a completely different fighter. I think that she had a good taste of the Macy Barber in the third round, and that of our last fight, and I am 10 times the fighter that I was in that fight that I am today. So I am just a much more evolved fighter, and a very more dangerous fighter now. So I'm just very excited again to go out there and showcase everything that I've improved on, and how much more of a dangerous fighter that I am today.
Yeah, and just last one from me. How did you structure camp? I know camp's kind of been in Colorado now. You've been sort of putting everything together. It seems like a very focused camp on you, which is great, obviously, because you can work on things that you need to do. But what did camp look like? Who did you get to work with ahead of this one?
Yeah, camp always is amazing. I have like the best team. I have the best coaches. I've worked with the same coach for a very long time, Guilherme, and he has a way of structuring camp in a very great way, and I trust him with my life. And so he has done a phenomenal job of preparing me, and like I said, I trust him with my life. And when it comes to preparing for any fighter and any opponent that I have, I let him take that job, and I don't focus on how I'm going to structure camp. I let him do that. And so as far as like how I did it, I didn't do it. He did it, and maybe one day you can interview him and ask him what he does to structure camp. I think that would be great. But for me, I just went in and I put in the work, and I had the best training partners. I had the best coaches, and we are going to be more than prepared.
Macy, how do you see your style matching up against Alexa's in this rematch?
I see my style going out there to dominate. I'm going to be prepared in the striking. I'm going to be prepared in the grappling. I'm going to be prepared in the wrestling. And she's not ready for the grind. She's not ready for the dominance that I'm going to have over her. And I know that she gets frustrated. And so that's what I am prepared to do is just go out there and just dominate everywhere.
And what do you feel a statement win will do for you over the next 12 months in the UFC?
Oh, a statement win for me will put me on an 8-fight win streak and make me undeniable for the belt. I'm gonna have the belt after this.
And do you feel there's anything in your past performances that you've had to fix for this fight?
I think with every performance, there's always little things you need to fix. There's always little pieces that you need to get better at. There's always little errors in striking. There's always little things that you can critique with every single fight, even with the wins, those are the ones that you got to really nitpick, because it's easy to take things from the losses, but when you have wins is when you really have to be like, oh, okay, you really have to pick from those, because you could just walk away from a win and be like, well, I won, but you have to really sit back and be like, no, you might have won, but you still have to pick the things that you have to fix to get better. So we definitely still had to go and critique those wins and evolve from there.
And do you see this fight as a technical chess match or just pure chaos?
A little bit of both. You can't have one without the other, and you definitely can't have a fight of mine without a little bit of chaos. So everybody knows that my fights are always going to be an exciting fight, and so I don't think I've ever been the type of fighter to go out and just be super technical, but at the same time, I have to make sure that I am precise and I am ready for everything.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Check. Yeah, there we go. Terrence, what's up, man?
What's up, James?
How you doing? How happy were you to get on this card? I know. I remember you were at the Bellator Tacoma event in the crowd, and now you get to be a part of this at Climate Pledge. Like, how excited were you to when you found out you'd be on this card?
Extremely, and being able to be here for Mike's retirement fight is just like everything just falling in place. So I just want to thank God for this opportunity, and yeah, I'm super excited to fight in pretty much in the backyard and do what I do best.
Yeah, how many people have been hitting you up? I know Florida's home now, but you spent a lot of time here in Washington State for a good chunk of your career. How many people hit you up when they found out you were on this card?
Everyone and their mama, man. The UFC gonna be mad how many family links I sent out.
Yeah, that's good. How much notice did you get with this fight? Do you look like you got a full camp?
Yeah, I had a full camp. We had like about, I think, 7 or 6 weeks.
Okay. And how familiar were you with Kyle before taking this fight? Obviously, Kyle's a guy that puts on a show. We saw that in Vancouver last year against Favola. I'm assuming you kind of knew him from that.
Yeah, and I think I saw a couple of his fights with Steve Garcia because Steve Garcia is my boy. So I watched this fight then, and so I got a little familiarity.
Yeah, and that's good. Right amount of time off in between fights too, do you think?
Yeah, this is perfect. You guys know me. It's the sooner the better. I love competing.
Yeah. And who'd you get to work with this camp over there at Fusion? You got a great gym there, lot of good guys. I know you have a bunch of teammates actually fighting, I think, this weekend on like a local card as well. So I know the gym must be really amped up right now.
This camp, I got to work with Mike Perry and Brian Santiago. We're just been switching it up, just getting different looks every round. So that way it can have that fight feel. When you go with the same person too much, you just don't get like that kind of like fight anxiety. So yeah, it's been nice to just get prepared the right way.
Yeah. And then just sort of last one for me. Have you kind of, put it in your head, like you've had a lot of, you get a great crowd reaction anywhere you go, but have you thought about what it's going to be like to walk out in front of the crowd here? Because they put on the crowd put on a really good sort of reaction at the last event.
Yeah, I'm excited about that, and I be feeling like Goku. I get that spirit bomb energy. So like, yeah, and then I just let it release out in the cage.
You talk about that energy from the crowd. I mean, we've seen you fight a little bit recklessly sometimes in the past. Does part of you feel like if I get too much energy, I'm going to go full spaz, or do you just have to keep yourself composed? How are you thinking that energy is going to show in the cage?
I owe this to my coach. He was pretty upset with me last time because I got away from the game plan because I saw him hurt and got too excited. But yeah, so we already been drilling it, faking when someone's hurt. So like we're prepared to stay calm and pick our shots and look for the clean finish.
Have you guys agreed like a punishment if you don't follow the game plan this time? You have to give him some money or buy dinner. Like
I don't even want to know how mad it'd be if I didn't follow the game plan. We're just gonna make sure we do what he says. Awesome. Thank you guys. You guys stay blessed. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everybody. Here today to present to Israel Adesanya his 75-time perfect test history pin. This is really rarefied air here. Izzy becomes one of only 4 UFC athletes to achieve this mark. The others being Amanda Nunes, Dustin Poirier, and Henry Cejudo. And I think all those have in common when their careers are done, surefire Hall of Famers, but they'll be inducted into the modern day clean UFC athlete wing of the UFC. The testing methodology and technology we're using in this program, especially over the last couple of years, is really extraordinary. We're doing things in this program that not only no other professional sports are doing, but no other amateur or Olympic sports. And I tell you that because, like Izzy, when you reach 75 times of perfect test history, I can very confidently stand up here and say you're looking at a clean athlete here that's done things the right way in the UFC. So congratulations to Iz. He forgot his jacket to pin this too, but that's all right. He'll do it when he gets home. But here's your 75 pin. And thanks for everything you do, man. Appreciate it.
One of them ones.
Picture.
Oh, yeah, picture. Yes, of course. Of course. Thank you, Jeff. All right there.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Jeff. I like that. Woo. They're going to find something to say. They're going to find something to say. Put it over there. Maybe display.
Israel, the longest hiatus of your career. How much have you missed the game being out away from the sport?
It's been fun to watch the game from far away and just observe. And again, a lot happens in a year, a lot of growth, a lot of understanding of the game, the fighting game itself, and of myself as an athlete, as a person. Yeah, so it's good to clock back into work and do what I do best.
Do you feel like you've missed the sport? Or has the sport missed you? Do you feel like this sport is missing you and the Israel Adesanya experience?
I have missed fighting, but I think the sports missed me. From what I'm hearing in my DMs from fans, you know, again, I was one of the last, you know, real ones who was active, not trying to just hold the belt for no reason, fight everybody. So yeah, I'm just happy to be back.
Looking at Joe, on paper, it would seem his biggest threat is the heavy hands that he always has. He's got that knockout power. Do you see that as his biggest weapon in this, or do you think he's more well-rounded than perhaps we're giving him credit for?
No, I think he's very well-rounded. I think he is a big threat on the feet with the hands. And also his shot. He's got a fast shot. I studied that very well in his grappling tendencies. So, yeah, I look forward to him testing that against me, and I want him to feel what I can do when it comes to grappling.
Yeah. You said that fighting now is about showing your skills and getting to express yourself in the cage. What does the full expression look like on Saturday? If you could design the perfect fight and like, oh, that's how I want to come out of the cage, what does it look like?
I go in there, you know, touch gloves with the you know, face off, get into my stance, and I just go at him, attack him straight away. He tries to hit me, I'm not there. And then when I'm hitting him, he's gonna be like, right, let's shoot. Shoots, stuffs the takedown. Because the takedown defense starts from the feet, you know, starts from the distance. And I just don't think he's gonna, only way he can, no, I won't say that one. But yeah, I want to be clean. I want to go in there and let him hit fresh air.
You're a big guy on energy. What have you made of Joe's energy this week? Like, I know that you guys have quite a nice relationship, but obviously he's found religion now and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
He found religion?
Like hardcore.
Oh, real? I had no idea.
Yeah, yeah.
Good for him. Which one? Christian, Islamic?
He did not specify. I would
didn't
assume
specify.
Christian.
That's cool. Respect.
But yeah, he's been very, very change of character, not very aggressive. He's sort of saying that he's here and that now his life is about more than just fighting. He sees this as unimportant in his life now compared to his religion. Do you take anything from that? Do you take anything from his energy this week? And if so, what do you make of it?
No, I didn't really know. I haven't seen him this week, so we haven't really felt energy, but I don't think there's going to be an issue. We've met once or twice, and he's been very complimentary, and I've, you know, given it back. But yeah, when we get in there and they lock the cage doors, the beast will come out. And yeah, alhamdulillah.
Israel over here, right here in the front row. How's it going?
Hey, man.
Good to see you again. Tell me how this fight was sort of presented to you. Was it just that you wanted to get back and the UFC sort of offered you Joe, or were there any other names in the mix? Like how did this fight materialize?
To be honest, I just said yes. They offered me Joe, and I said yes. I'm not sure which other names were offered to my managers. They, like, the buck stops with me. The line, I signed on the dotted line. So yeah, they will only present me something if it's something of substance, something that's like on the table. So he was the only name offered, and I was just like, yep, let's fight, because I was ready to fight.
Is the mentality any different this time around with all the time off you've had? I know you wanted, you know, to kind of take a step back, just kind of look on your career and then come back. Like, is there a different feel this week, or are you treating this like every other fight?
It feels the same, to be honest. Okay. You know, it's I'm glad it's less media. Shout out to Tim for trimming it down. I'm glad it's just, you know, it's a good way to get back into the game. You know, I can go in the deep end. I can jump in there and swim with the sharks. But I like this pace where I just kind of like come in and, everything's so familiar. So my body recognizes it. My mind recognizes it. We're just going.
I know the task at hand is obviously, you know, taking out Joe, and there's, you know, the division's open now with obviously Chimaev being champion and everything. You did have that move up to 205 a couple of years ago. Is that something that's still a possibility of you going back up, or do you see yourself just continuing at 85 yet?
I'll leave that to like Rob, and I think Costa apparently is going up. Apparently Chimaev is going. I found out yesterday he might be moving up. So I don't know. I like 185. This is where I'm at. This is where I range. So I'm gonna stay.
How do you think Rob will do at 205, and Paulo Costa for that matter?
I have no idea about Costa, but Rob's been looking good in the gym. He started his camp with us. So, yeah, great. Just a great training partner to have in the room. And, yeah, he still got it. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, no, he looked good. There's a lot of history here in Seattle with Bruce Lee. Obviously, he passed away here. I know.
We're going to go see him after this.
I was just going to say, because Song Yadong, I know he headlined the card last time he went and visited his grave. Is that so that you're going to be doing something similar?
Me and Navajo are going to be going to the tomb of one of the goats after this, and just pay our respects, but also just get some energy, get some mana.
How much of an impact did Bruce have on your career?
On my career, again, if not for him, us Chinese people might not be. If not for him,
still got the jokes.
But if not for him, you know, movies might not be the way it is. Action movies, you know, action stars, Blade, Chuck Norris, like those guys. Rest in peace. You know, they might not be where it is, but for me, Jackie Chan was my guy that I grew up watching. You know, Bruce Lee was, I guess, for the 80s. A lot of Black Americans and Americans fuck with it, and you know, but for me it was Jackie Chan. He was more my flavor. But Bruce Lee is a legend. He's a guy that I've admired. His philosophy, mainly. His fighting style was cool, but mainly his philosophies and the way he thought. That's what drew me to him.
And just last one for me. I'm sure we'll see how the fight goes on Saturday, but are you kind of just taking it fight to fight as far as, you know, the longevity of your career? Like if this goes really well, that could maybe extend things. Is that kind of how you're seeing things? Because you got a lot of things going on outside. Like you got the YouTube channel. There's a lot of things happening for you outside of fighting.
Yeah, but I still have so much left on the table. And for me, I'm taking everything one moment at a time, one day at a time, one fight at a time, because the world's crazy right now, so we don't know what's going to happen. So everything is just about this moment. Normally, when I was coming up, also I'm in a different place in my career. When I was coming up, you know, I'm fighting actively 5 times in my first year in the UFC, calling out name after name after name, picking my opponents. But it's not really just like, why would I don't need to do, I am me. I'm Israel Adesanya, so they call me out. I've been away for a year, and I've had a few call outs that I hear about through the grapevine. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, so yeah, I don't really have to do all that stuff. I just kind of come in here and just get my job done.
Did someone call you out that you didn't feel was deserving of it? Like you kind of just made that comment there.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Izzy, over here. You said you're at a different stage in your career. What do you feel that this fight represents for you at this stage in your career?
This is like the classic tale, because I've watched this game for so long. This is the classic tale of when they try and get, the old guard and give him a young dog, So for me, I've seen how this goes. This is just the cycle. And sometimes, us old fellas or older guys, stop them in their tracks. So this fight for me is just the story I'm telling myself. The story I'm going to write this weekend is after a year off, he comes back and just performs better than he ever has, or just like he did. And people because again, you know how the game is. People just, you're only as good as your last fight. So when I'm done this weekend, I want people to be like, oh, wow, fuck. How did I ever doubt him? How did I ever think he was done? Like, what the fuck was I thinking? So yeah, that's the story I want to write this weekend.
And with recent setbacks in your career, how have you adjusted your preparation in preparing for Joe Pyfer?
It wasn't really about the opponent, because we do that very well. We take care of the game plan as a team very well. For me, it was just about details, staying off my phone less, because you don't realize, like, fuck, even when the whole thing dropped, the list dropped, my whole timeline was just Island, Epstein, this, that, blah, blah, and it just gets depressing. So I had to log out. And then that habit where you grab your phone out of habit to go back in there. I have the door locked now, so you have to log in. So I know, do I want to go back in there or not? Because again, it fucks with your attention span, fucks with your focus, a lot of things. So I got off my phone more, I stayed off my phone more, gamed more, slept better. What else? Ate good. Still had some Uber Eats, but yeah, ate really good. Tried to eat clean, and just little details. Those are the things I took care of in preparation for this fight. Not really like the game plan and stuff, because we do that very well.
Thank you. Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask, how much you're such a seasoned fighter that how much do you think like randomness, the element of randomness or luck, factors into professional MMA? In your last fight, you won the first round and you looked to be doing pretty well in the second round. You got hit with a low blow, maybe didn't wait as long as you should have before going back in. Do you think that's an element of randomness or luck? And I guess in general, how much has that, have you thought about that in your career?
That's a good question. Randomness. I mean, that's life. Things happen. But yeah, for me, the lesson was, take time. You don't have to. As soon as it happened, I was kind of on the fly. I was like, you know what? I don't want to give him time to rest, because I knew I was winning. But yeah, I made a mistake by resetting at the wrong distance. So that was my bad. And these are things that happen in life. Sometimes you're doing so well, and then all it takes is a split second of lapse in focus. And again, I've taken care of that very well this camp.
And you spoke about the old guard facing the new fighters. You've drawn Anderson Silva comparisons since the start of your career. Do you see yourself kind of as in the same position as a late career Anderson Silva?
Yeah, but different. And something I even said to Oscar yesterday was, when you think about Anderson Silva, no one thinks about the last part of his career. They remember the highlights and the moments he made them feel something. He made the whole world feel something, like just by being himself, being amazing at fighting, and just being a sweet guy. So for me, it's not, I'm in the same position. Like I said, this is the cycle of everything, but I'm going to write my own story.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Hey, Israel. What is your relationship currently with the fans? Because you said I remember he was on the Joe Rogan podcast. Take a picture with me and things like that, but I don't like the NPC actions when people come and they yell in my face and things like that. So where does the current relationship stand with the fans?
It's all about respect. Like, I'm sure I've had some bad interactions with fans, because some people they don't care about, you. They just want what they want. They want that picture now. I could be having dinner with my family, having a serious conversation, and then they just interrupt us, and I don't want to be that guy, but I'm like, you're being that guy. And it's all about respect, time and place. Outside the hotel, I take photos. I just don't like scalpers, guys who bring like 20 things to sign. I'm like, I know what you're doing. I ain't stupid. I wasn't born yesterday. but it's about respect. And I've had great interactions with fans. People who show respect, like you'll see heaps of comments on my freestyle band of people being like, I met this guy one time and man, we talked for like 15 minutes. Even if it's 5 seconds, I want to connect with someone for that. I'll make them feel seen for that 5 seconds, you know, take the picture. And I will even pick like something I like about their outfit or their look, and I'll just make them feel seen and connect for that little bit. But sometimes if it's the energy's right and you don't force things and people aren't weird, because you get some weird people. I'm sure you've heard stories, but you get some weird people who trying to hold you hostage. But nah, it's all about respect, man. If you give me respect, I'll give it back. But if you're a dickhead and you don't even realize and you're not objective enough to see that you're a dickhead, then I can be a bigger dick too.
Do you have a Nav story for us while he's in the room?
Navajo. Is he in the room? A Nav story. What's a good Nav story? I mean, it was cool when I won the belt 287 again in Miami, having him around. Fuck. I just like the picture of us at 11 and he had a Miami shirt on, shirtless, smoking a cigar. And I'm there, I think, same thing, just smoking a cigar in the club. That was fun. Yeah. So again, he's a guy that I've admired since he came to the gym, and I'm finding out how much I played a part in his career as well. So it's cool. Something he said on Freestyle Bender the other day, the Young Man Rambo, he said like he thought like, man, I was hoping you'd be around so we can be on the same card together. So now we're on the same card together. You know, that's my twin. See, we look alike. So it's good to like make it full circle finally. I'm sure he can tell you some stories, but you know, that's for him to tell. Easy ass. Thank you guys. This is fun. Woo!
One more picture solo. Let him know.
So much. Appreciate it.
And sir, how's it going?
Good, really good. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's good to see you back here. You fought here, obviously, just over a year ago on the last Seattle card. How much of a different fighter are you from the fighter we saw here last time?
Way different, man. Light years different. I'm much more mature. I'm much more professional, and I feel much better. You can see it in my physique and the way that I'm handling things fight week, my diet, my weight right now, my mind, how calm I am. It's light years of improvement, and I thought I was good then, but now I'm much better.
You had to partake in Ramadan, right, before this fight. So how did you navigate through that? Because you had it last year as well, too, right?
It's very easy to navigate through it. You just hydrate well and eat well before the morning meal, fast all day, train twice a day, maybe 3 times, and then you eat well at the end of the day. It's very, very simple to me. And really, I like eating most of my food at the nighttime anyway.
Yeah, so kind of worked out there. Let's talk about your opponent. Obviously, he got a big upset win in his last fight, just 3 hours away over there in Vancouver. He's dangerous. Just how do you look at this fight stylistically with you and him?
This fight stylistically goes in my favor. I know that he's an experienced fighter. He's experienced within fighting, within kickboxing and everything else, but I feel that I am better. I feel that I will be better on that night. I have confidence in my skills, confidence within my preparation, confidence within my mindset and my mentality. And I know the threat that's posed on Saturday, and I will eliminate that threat, God willing.
A lot of middleweights at your gym, which is great. And obviously big opportunity for Sean getting the title shot. Like, how much of a boost was that for the gym? You got your fight coming up. What's the room like at Extreme right now?
Honestly, I mean, it wasn't too much of a boost mood-wise. It was just, okay, there's another fight on the docket for one of our guys. Period, point blank. He's been a champion before. He's been in that position before. But in terms of preparation, it meant a little bit more. Going in there training with more of a focus. Okay, this guy's getting ready for a title fight. I'm getting ready for my fight. It's a surge of focus, not necessarily energy, but it's very, very good for the entire gym, and it motivates the gym when anybody gets ready to fight. So it's beautiful.
Do you feel like another win here, especially another finish, does that get you kind of that ranked opponent? You've been on a nice run right now. I know you're not in a rush, but like I'm sure you also want to, keep moving up the division.
Absolutely. And it's all going to come in due time. I'm in no rush, but also I'm not taking things too slow either. I am just having fun. I swear I have fun. I swear I have so much fun. It's never about rushing things, or it's never about a certain fight or a certain opponent ever. It's just me loving what I do, and I'm here on fight week with you guys doing what I do, enjoying these interviews, enjoying the time you guys take to ask me questions. So I'm just living the dream, man, every single day.
And just last one for me, what does it mean to you as a middleweight on this card to be on the same card as Israel Adesanya? I don't know how much of an impact he's had on your career or not, but what does that mean to you?
Major impact, man, major impact. There's been times, many, many times, where I was just sitting at home watching fights with my dad, watching him, seeing how he conducted himself, seeing how he fought, seeing his character and his image and the things that he's done inside the sport, and seeing all that flourish. And now I'm here on the same card as him. It's a wonderful thing, wonderful experience.
Hey, man, sir. I'm just curious, how many times have you actually, like in your MMA career, how many times have you actually got to get in there with somebody that's going to be taller than you? Like not only taller, but like a little bit significantly taller.
A few times, actually. I remember the fight right before the UFC, right before the Contender Series. I think that guy was like 6'7". And then my last opponent, he could have been like,
I'm sorry.
And my last opponent, he was maybe like 6'5", or like around the same size as this guy I'm fighting this weekend. So it's a normal occurrence for me, but then a normal occurrence for shorter guys too. It's the opponent never matters. It's a blank face, man. It's a blank face. You have a certain body type, and you have things that they do well, and you have things that you do well, and you try to capitalize on the things that you do well and minimize the things that they do not do well.
Have you ever gone back and watched any of his kickboxing fights? Because he does have a couple against Israel, right? Like, did you go and watch those at all?
I'm a fight connoisseur. I've watched all fights you can think about. I've studied them all. I've watched them all. But then also, I don't get too involved within someone else's story. I'm involved with my story. I take what I take from it. I take the technical aspects from it, and then I leave it.
So which chapter of your story are we on right now?
This is the beginning, man. I'm just a baby. I'm 28 years old in a division filled with slightly older people. Some guys around my age, of course, some guys younger, but this is a very good age for me. This is the beginning of my story. I'm a baby in this game, and I cannot wait to show who I am this weekend and continue my story.
You seem like such a positive guy, man. Is there anything that you don't actually like?
I don't like a lot of things. I tell you what, I mean, being positive is relatively new. As of like maybe like the last 7 or 8 years. But when I was younger, I was probably a little bit more pessimistic, probably a little bit more quiet, a little bit more to myself in like almost like an aggressively forward way. But you have two options. You can choose to be negative, or you can choose to be positive. And I choose the things that make me feel good, and choose things that make other people feel good, and choose to show the things that are good with inside of me rather than the opposite.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Man, sir, do you think about your long-term timeline in the sport, or do you just take it one fight at a time?
One fight at a time, always, but the long term is always in the back of my mind. Professional fighting is a short career, relatively. In the UFC, a short career, relatively. I know that all things come, all things go, so I'm doing the best I possibly can right now, and right now I feel like it'll never end. But I love it to a limit, and I know that all things will come to an end at some point, so I'm going to do the best I possibly can right now, here in this moment.
And how do you stay motivated and evolving in the sport?
I'm not even sure what motivation is, to be honest, not even in a funny way. I know what inspiration feels like. I know I'm being uplifted by others, and being uplifted by fights, and being uplifted by good energy and good words from people that you care about. I know what that's like. It's all fun to me. It's all fun and games. I have a recreational mentality. It's up here. I'm thinking playful. I'm thinking light. It's something I do on every single Wednesday, even though I do it every single day. But my actions are that of a man that's obsessed, that's very, very serious about his purpose and about his goals and about the things that he wants to accomplish. So I have an interesting duality when it comes to my physical aspects in my body and then my mind. So I'm not really too sure what motivation is, but I just know that every single day I enjoy what I do, and having that lightness and that freedom and that recreational mentality fuels me to do things that others might be tired of every single day.
And going into this matchup in particular, what is it that you think that fans and us in the media are getting wrong about this matchup?
Everything. You know, people have their opinions, man. It's people have their negative opinions and then they have their good opinions. So I'm not too focused on any of that, really. That's the opinion of a fan or the opinion of a spectator, and they aren't necessarily wrong because that's what they believe. I believe what I believe. I'm in a completely different position. I'm up here on this stage. I'm the one fighting. I'm the one competing. So I don't take too many things to heart. People say some crazy stuff, but I grew up in a time where Modern Warfare 2 was real, being in those lobbies. So I'm not, and nothing can really phase me, man. It's like this stuff is all playful and all games to me, but in all seriousness, people can have their opinions. I mean, it's their opinion. And I have not even paid attention to too many of it. I've seen some good stuff and I've seen some not so good stuff, but I know what I'm going to do. I know what I'm prepared to do. And I know that I'm going to be there enjoying that moment and, you know, not the spectator, but I'm grateful for the spectators as well. It's beautiful people all the way through. The good is good and the bad is good.
Obviously, you got a tough fight on Saturday, but looking at the division as a whole, are there any names that stand out to you? Any ranked names that in particular, like a dream fight, perhaps?
Of course, maybe not necessarily a dream fight. I mean, me fighting myself, that would be a dream fight. That's interesting. But anyone with that number across their name, you know, anyone that gets me higher, you know, that's the logical thing. That's the intelligent thing. That's the smart thing. But then I am in no rush either.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good luck.
It looked like you did it as like you didn't have control of yourself. Like the minute you said it, just you're powerless. Yes. I don't want to correct you, but I will go. Gig. 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 The line is. Yeah, we'll start to play. Then you'll go inside. You'll ask someone for it. You'll go outside. We'll give you. What are you doing? You're doing what corporate cheap people do to get it to count. Swap it. Swap credentials. What are we doing? What are we doing? Just take it. Then, I wouldn't smoke. You'll go out. I don't give you the help. Now it doesn't matter. You will lie. Like you like to me. Start smoking, Sam. Start smoking. You can still. You have time to start smoking. It's too expensive. I won't get it. It's too expensive. Expensive? Yes. No. Yes. I'll give you the money. I'll give you the money. You're gonna fund my smoking habit? Just take the money, Sam. Don't get cigarettes. Take the money. We don't like that. We're from Russia. Only Russia.
Going, guys. Hey, James, how are you, bro?
I'm doing well, Julian. Good to see you.
Yeah, as well.
How's it being back home? You train in Vegas, but obviously you got family out here as well. How's the week been sort of leading into things?
Oh, it's fantastic. You know, it's going to the airport, just like familiar territory. You know, I've been there a million times. Obviously, you know, I was born in Seattle, so it's just so nice to be fighting out here. And the early part of my career was in Tacoma. I fought cage sport countless times, so it's just nice to be back. It's come full circle for me.
Have you had a chance to glance at the betting odds? I think you're like a plus 240 underdog or something like that. What's going on there?
I enjoy that, you know, at least all my friends and family can, you know, at least the odds are in their favor. You know, gonna put some money on me, might as well, you know, have it be in your favor and have me be the underdog. So, you know, it's weird when it's a debuter because I feel like they just don't have much information on his end. I mean, he hasn't been tested at the UFC level, and yeah, he could go out there and he get the win, and he might be favored in some eyes. But man, I got this will be my 18th UFC fight. You know, I feel like they're giving me a little bit of you know, a little bit of disrespect. But I enjoy being the underdog. You know, it was I'd rather be the underdog than the favorite.
But that saying that, you got the new contract, right? So you got to be happy about that, and that's going to be a bit of a boost going into the fight, right?
Oh, 100%. You know, that's always where things kind of get stipulated, like regardless of how you're doing, win, lose, draw, you know, if you're like whatever, however your career path is going, if you get a new contract with the UFC, it means they like you, so they want to keep you around. So that just reinforces kind of the mindset going in that the UFC likes me, they want to keep me around, they like me, win, lose, or draw, they like my style, and so you know, I'm still here to stay.
You talked a bit about the experience in this fight and obviously who you fought compared to who he's fought. You kind of go back to earlier in your career when maybe you were that guy coming up and you're fighting more experienced opponents. Like, how much will that play into this fight that you've been in there with some of the best in the division?
Yeah, it's you know, I got 43 professional fights. So I've been, you know, I've been cut, I've been brought back, you know, I fought at the regional scene back and forth. So I've been able to see the level of the UFC and then get cut, and then we had to fight guys back at the regional scene and then come back. So not only do I understand it from the point of view of starting off at the regional scene and getting to the UFC, but being cut and thinking that maybe I'm just not cut out for the UFC. Maybe the bigger organizations I'm just not cut out for. And so going back down, then realizing that, yes, I am. I just need to get it together. I need to figure out kind of what the issues that I was having. And so I've been able to kind of ground myself with that.
A lot of local fighters on this card: Chase Hooper, yourself, Lance Gibson. You got Ricky Simone. Michael Chiesa's last fight is going to be on this card too. Terrence as well. Like, how cool, like, I don't know what your relationship is like with a lot of those fighters, but I'm sure a lot of you local guys are pretty friendly with each other.
Yeah, you know, I know all those guys, you know, and me and Chiesa go way back because we were fighting on cage sport in Tacoma on the same cards, you know. Seems like I turned pro in 2010, 16 years ago. So, you know, me and him were fighting, you know, on the same cards, you know, 15, 16 years ago. So it was nice to see, or nice to be on the same card, especially for his retirement fight.
And just last one for me, another bit of news that came through today. It looks like the Seattle Supersonics are coming back. Are you going to be a fan again? I don't know if you were growing up. Were you a Supersonics fan at all?
Oh yeah, I was a Seattle fan. I have an Oklahoma City Thunder jersey specifically because that's who bought the Sonics, and so having them come back is amazing, man. We needed a NBA team again, so it's nice to have them back.
So do you get rid of the Oklahoma jersey and replace it with the new Sonics jersey when they come back?
Yeah, I mean, I'll keep it, but yeah, I'll get a new one for sure.
Who did you like? Like, I don't know what era you grew up watching them, but like, do you have any favorite players back in the day? Maybe like Kemp or Peyton or
the glove, Peyton, Gary Payton. Man, that guy's you know, he's a legend. All those guys. I mean, really. I mean, I wasn't a super big basketball fan in general, but obviously being from Seattle. Even now, football, I'm not a huge football fan, but the Seahawks, I'm always rooting for them. And so, yeah, that's awesome that they're back. You're just telling me this, that's new information to me right now.
Yeah, got approved, and then someone's got to bid and get the team, but it's looking good. So might have a basketball team to root for.
Hell
so,
yeah.
Thanks, Julian.
Of course.
Julian over here. Do you feel what in your second stint in the UFC that fans are going to see a different version of you?
I mean, it's kind of just about circumstance, really. I think early on in my fight career, or early on in my UFC career, I was too anxious about trying to prove myself like I did on the regional scene. Like, oh, once I get in the UFC, if I just do what I did on the regional scene, I'll be getting bonuses. I'll be, climbing up the ladder, and I put too much pressure on myself to perform like I used to on the regional scene. And I think that was kind of my downfall, instead of just going out there and fighting how I do.
And if this fight goes perfectly to plan, what does it look like from your perspective?
I mean, it's always kind of kill or be killed with me. So I like to have exciting fights, and that can kind of be my detriment as well. But I'm really looking forward to trying to get a finish over Douglas, probably in the second or third round.
And is there any specific position or sequence that you feel that you can break Douglas?
Oh, I mean, I think in the grappling, I think my grappling is a bit underrated, but I'm pretty sure I'm superior there. And I think if I get his neck in any kind of configuration, it's going to be over for him.
Thank you. Good luck Saturday.
Thank you so much.
Last time out, you fought Melchizael Costa, got the fight of the night bonus, and since then he's been on an absolute tear, finishing opponents, finishing ranked opponents, and is booked for a main event. So have you looked back on that fight and derived some confidence from that, maybe?
For sure. I mean, there's like fights that you have that age well or they don't age well. And I feel like I got a lot of those. I mean, Sean Woodson was a good one that aged well. Nate Landwehr, Charles Jourdain, a long list of guys that I fought that, are aging well. And Melky's one of those guys. We had a barn burner. I broke my orbital in that fight, so I couldn't see him about 2/3 of the fight, but was willing to make it really close. And we ended up getting fight of the night. And arguably, I watched back that fight a couple of times, and I'm like, I think you could have probably given me the second and third round. I think he created more damage in that first round than I did the last 2 rounds. But with the pressure and significant strikes and just the control time that I had in both those second and third round, I think you might be able to give it to me. So that builds my confidence too. I mean, that guy, he's like you said, he's on a tear. He got a super quick knockout over the
Danny Gay.
Yeah, and then the guy before him, Charrier,
yes, yeah.
and then he knocked out Dan Ige right at the end of the first round, and I train with Dan, and he's a stud. So to get big wins like that off a guy who kind of, I don't want to say barely beat me, but I felt like I was very competitive, and I was slightly disabled in that fight. So it definitely builds my confidence.
And the fans really love you for these dog fights, these bloody, drawn-out wars, and you've had many of those in the UFC. But this time around, are you looking to just get the job done, or do you maybe see it becoming another dog fight like that?
All these fights that I've ever been in always have game plans. It just kind of depends on how quickly those game plans go out the window. I enjoy it so much that it's like, it's kind of a teeter-totter where do I want to get into a barn burner or do I want to try to stick to the game plan? But eventually, if the fight's going long enough, it's going to turn into a barn burner, and I enjoy that because that's where I thrive. You see a lot of times where I'll kind of break people down and break them through the cardio and the conditioning and just kind of the pressure that I give them. And I feel like with Melky would have been, if that fight was any longer, I could have got him out of there. But so it's really not the ability to pressure, it's the time restraint sometimes. So, but I want to be a bit more technical early on in this fight because this kid's got a lot of power, and I've been susceptible to that. I've never been submitted, but I've been knocked out. So I really want to be on my P's and Q's about my defensive, about my defense early on in the fight, and just try to put the pressure on towards the end of the fight.
Thanks. Good luck.
Thank you. All right.
Okay, it's okay. Blame him. There you go. Hey Chase, how's it going?
Hey, good. Glad to see you made it over the border.
I did. Yes, had some issues before, but we made it here. What first the jacket? What's that about? It looks kind of cool.
It's got some Cookie Monster stuff to it.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Any
Yeah.
particular reason, or just thought I'd?
No, one of my buddies that owns Kilo Tactical sent it to me. I think it looks pretty sweet. My wife's not a big fan of it. She thinks it looks kind of silly, but I checked with everybody else on the team. I was like, hey, is this cool, or do I look like a dork wearing this? And they're like, kind of both.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, all right, fair enough. And yeah, we're here now.
Speaking of being here now, obviously big fight for you, getting a fight in front of a home crowd. I know in the past you've tried to get on these cards. The timing hasn't worked out. I know this timing didn't work out like amazingly, but you still get to fight. But now that it's 2026, you've been in the UFC for a while. How much, does this moment kind of mean to you now that you've had those reps in the UFC and you've kind of been an established fighter?
Yeah, I think earlier in my career, this would have been a huge shock, or it would have been a lot more unnecessary pressure when I was already feeling so much pressure as it is. But now it's kind of a welcome homecoming, so to say. I've spent so much time, I had a ton of fights at the Apex. I feel so I figured out the UFC process of what a fight week is like, figure out how to deal with that pressure. So I'm ready to put on a show at home, and it's been awesome so far. It's been nice to just drive up and such a cool experience. And yeah, I'm here for it.
You talked to me about getting to train with Corey Sandhagen. I don't know if you have spoken to him since you got to train with him. Did he give you any sort of, tips, advice, or anything? I mean, he's just a great mind in the sport, right, to get to work with.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't try to it's one of those things. Some people I know, and I've seen, and I've trained with guys like this, where they go to a gym and they're like, you got to treat me special because of, because I'm in UFC. I don't want to go to anybody else's gym like that. So I just went to his gym and oh, hey, can I come train? I didn't I don't know, ask him for any more of his time than he was already giving me. No, I feel like I got some fun stuff. Corey's a great, just overall mind for the striking. He's so well-rounded, and his just Rolodex of things he does is so tight, and he's got things to do for everything. So it was fun to be able to kind of maybe pick his brain a little bit as far as just the lefty versus lefty stuff goes, but nothing too crazy.
Have you seen Lance yet this week? Again, we sort of talked about this. It's an interesting matchup in the sense that you guys are two really nice guys. There's not going to be any trash talking. You don't, in some ways, you don't mind that. You can just focus on the fight.
Yeah, I mean, I watched there was a fight last week where a guy was shoving a guy at the weigh-ins. It's I don't know, what are you gonna do? You're gonna fight me here and neither of us make money? It's one of those things. We make money by entertaining the crowd, not the couple hundred people at the face-offs. So yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. I don't really care anymore. I've been around so long. It's just showmanship, I guess, for some of those guys. But yeah, just work for me, and I'm here to put on our show on Saturday. Everything else is just right now. I'm just so much more focused on the weight cut than anything, and then get to weigh in, get to gorge myself on food, and then it's thinking about the fight.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, and I know people hate it when we ask about weight cuts, but I know with you it is a big part of your camp. Even as someone who moved up from featherweight a couple of years ago, you seem like you're in good spirits. Have you almost got it down a lot better now, where you feel like you're going in and it's not as much of a thing?
A little bit. I will say, what is this? I think this is my 13th UFC fight. And every single one of my UFC fights, I've cut a ton of weight for. I mean, not a ton, but more than average. So it's one of those things where in the moment you're like, dang, can I do this? Is this gonna be feasible? But it's I've done it all these times before. It's always the mental that gets you more than anything. It's building it up in your head. So I'm just trying to, just accept it, take it as it comes. And I'll be sweating my ass off tomorrow, and weigh-ins on Friday, business on Saturday. I've done it so many times.
Do you think you'll ever move up to welterweight?
Kiesa was telling me, he's like, oh, you're going to be a welterweight soon for sure. And I was like, I don't know. It's just, I would lose out so much on the height and the reach advantage. Cause then you've got these crazy guys like the MVPs, the Ian Garys, these guys that are 6'2", 6'3", where me, I like to say I'm about 6'1.5". I don't know how many meters that is for you Canadians, but
don't worry about it. I'll calculate it. Yeah.
Hey, it's right over the edge. But yeah, then my my reach stops being such an advantage. So I'll keep squeezing down to lightweight, I'm sure.
You mentioned Chiesa. This is a retirement fight. Like, that must be kind of cool for you. I know you guys are fairly close, and to be a part of his sort of retirement fight on this card, that must be pretty cool for you.
Yeah, it's cool. Like last December, not the last one, but the previous one, we got to share a locker room again for one of his last fights. So yeah, it's cool to just have a guy that I kind of came up with more on the he was already in the UFC, but I was training with him on my way up. Getting the sparring sessions and stuff in, and helping him for some of his fights, getting some rounds in for mine. And it is cool to kind of be a part of that for a guy that I've been able to train with so much. I'm hoping it's a good send off for him, but this is a fight game. There's not a ton of fairy tale endings, but seems like he'll get a pretty decent one.
And just my last one, I don't know if this matters to you at all, but some big Seattle sports news. It looks like these Seattle Supersonics are coming back. They're talking about relocation. Was basketball ever on your radar? You don't strike me as like a basketball fan. I don't mean that in a bad way, but just you don't seem like you're a huge fan.
I think I got to force like my kids to play it. I think I got a good last name for like the back of a basketball
I would say
jersey.
so, yeah.
I'm just not like traditionally athletic, and I'm probably not tall enough for real basketball, but I think it's cool to have more sports back to Seattle. Like, bring more. Like, Seattle's a big city, and it's still growing, so it's cool to see the Supersonics coming back. And I actually hadn't known, so I guess I know now. Yeah,
there you go. You haven't been to a Kraken game yet, have you?
No, hockey. I've never tried out hockey, or I've never like tried to watch it. I've always heard like the worst thing that is if you go to a fight and then a hockey game breaks out. Like, you don't want to go to a hockey game and they're just playing hockey the whole time. So I'll have to bundle up and make it to one here next season.
So your last fight against Alexander Hernandez, it was pretty close up until right at the end of the round where you got caught. Do you have any takeaways from that, or was that just, I guess, bad luck or something you couldn't avoid?
I think there's really very few instances of bad luck in this sport. I like to say I was winning until I wasn't, which that's with every fight. Sometimes you're not winning. You're winning until it's a couple seconds in and you get cracked, I think I just ended up chasing him too much. Like, he had a really good style where he was kind of more poking and prodding and trying to get me to come forward. I was expecting him to be more aggressive, and I was kind of having trouble more. And I do sometimes in fights, and it's been trying to prep for this one, honestly, is not chasing guys down. Like, if I'm in the fight and like nothing's happening, a lot of times I start to kind of get, I don't know, bored or like feel like it's taking too long. I'm like, we're in here to fight. Like, what are we doing? So I guess that I was maybe a little overly aggressive with that. And that's, walked into some stuff I shouldn't have. Like, never should I, as the 6 foot guy, be walking down my, 5'7", 5 foot. I'll give him 5'8". Give my 5'8" opponent. I shouldn't be walking him down. I should have the reach advantage, staying in the middle. So it's just, making those adjustments, which we'll see if I made them or not once Saturday night comes. But that's been a big focus this camp.
So more of an emphasis on striking this camp, you'd say, or?
I don't know. It's one of those things, like, and the Hernandez fight was a good example of that. It's like, I'm not a striker, like, primarily. I'm a jiu-jitsu guy, and especially, like, I've been able to travel around and, like, train at some other gyms. Like, did some training in the UK, did some training, obviously, at Corey's gym. And, like, just realizing, like, when I'm grappling these guys, it's so much more one-way traffic. Like, on the feet, it's, like, the back and forth. I'm like, I get them, they get me. And then I'm like, oh, once I get them to the ground, it's so much easier. And this has been with, like, high-level guys. So it's been a good reminder for me of like, oh yeah, once I get it to the ground, like, the fight's kind of in my ballpark again, obviously. So striking enough, making sure I'm checking Lance's kicks and just, I feel like he fights a little more backwards. So like not as forwardly aggressive. Just kind of trying to adjust to that, like adjust to an opponent that's trying to point fight a little more and then just work my game on them.
And Lance told us he's excited to get in your guard and get some ground and pound off and test his grappling against yours. Do you think you'll have a notable advantage against him if he tries to get in your guard?
I hope he'll test his grappling against mine. Please, I've had fights where I thought it was gonna be a striking matchup, and then you see the guy. We saw a guy in the cage. He was like shooting doubles, and my coach was like, "Yes, let's go." It's one of those things where if I can't out grapple Lance on Saturday night, then sure, I'm gonna be in for a rough night. But you know, I've grappled with some legends of the sport, like the Jim Miller fight, Jordan Levitt, who just had a good win here at 145. I've fought some really solid grapplers. I don't think Lance has anything on the grappling that I haven't seen yet, at least not in the film that we've watched. I mean, his we know him decently well. I think that he's got a good camp as far as like they have a good eye on you know, picking things out. But I think I have a really tricky style to work with. And I mean, again, we'll find out on Saturday.
Thanks. Good luck.
Thank you.
Chase, has the new bonus structure, does that change anything for you, or is it just the same thing?
It's one of those things where I've talked about this before to like my teammates and friends and stuff. It's like I think it's so beneficial for a lot of these more starting contract guys. Like if you are making, you know, that 10 and 10, 12 and 12, and then you get a finish, you're doubling your money. Where for me, obviously, I'm definitely not scoffing at that at 25K. And I've had some great finishes that have not been bonus previously in the past. So it is nice as like a finish incentive. You know, it doesn't seem like, I guess we'll have to wait for it to shake out and see what the stats are. I don't know that it's going to motivate me more in the cage. I don't know if I'm going to be like, okay, let me get that extra 25 grand, you know, like that's never been in my mind at all. Money's like, you know, that's higher brain power than you can kind of comprehend when you're in there. That's a higher level need than that, I guess. We're just like primal needs. It's like, I need to not get hit. I need to hit this guy. But yeah, no, I think that, or, you know, getting that 100K bonus, that's amazing. Like that seems like that's something where, you know, and not the fun answer, but I'd take a chunk out of my mortgage on that, you know, like get to make my house payments a little lower, pay off the cars, whatever. Like that feels like a really good amount of money. I'll do my best to try and get that one on Saturday, though. We'll see.
Does it change anything in the preparation for the fights?
No, I mean, there's always incentive regardless. It's a win-win. Like if you finish and you're an exciting fighter, like you're gonna get rewarded regardless, whether it's monetary or otherwise. Look at the Paddy Pimblets, look at the Sean O'Malley's, even Strickland, who's, you know, very entertaining on the mic. But a lot of these finishers get rewarded regardless, whether it's money or not. So it doesn't change anything with my camp. It's just like, oh, you know, maybe if I win this, like what's some other dumb stuff I can spend money on? You know, it's nothing too crazy. It's not changing. It's not like, okay, I need to work on getting more subs. Like I feel like I need that anyways. I want to just get out of there as soon as I can. You know, they're not paying me by the hour.
Thank you. Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you. Awesome. Thank you.
All right, ready? Yeah, let's do it. All right, good afternoon again. On behalf of Thorne Nutrition, our official dietary supplement partner and sponsor of the UFC Clean Athlete Program, my pleasure to present our latest recipient of the 50-time Perfect Test History Jacket, Michael the Maverick Chiesa. When we started this recognition program about 6 or 7 years ago, we didn't know what the reaction would be from the athletes. And we told ourselves, look, they're the ones we care about. If they like this program, we'll continue it. If they don't, we won't. And I think you saw earlier Izzy's reaction to his 75-time pin. They appreciate this. And I can say with experience, I think you'd agree to this, our interaction over the last 5 years, every time you and I have interacted, the discussion usually goes to this jacket. Yeah. Mike saying, hey, I'm coming for that jacket. How many more tests do I have to get to that jacket? And then this particular scenario, I think, is the perfect storm. So his retirement fight before he lays down the gloves, being able to get him this, and maybe most importantly, in his hometown, before his family and his friends. And I think those are the people these guys are most happy about getting this recognition in front of, because they already know that they're competing in, the toughest physical and mental sport in the world. But on top of that, competing with integrity, credibility, and as a clean athlete. So my pleasure, Mike, to present you with this jacket. Thanks for everything you do. Congratulations on a great career.
Yeah, on that note, before we move on to the questions, I just want to say I think it's very important for, when it started with USADA, we switched to drug-free sport. I think it's very important to protect the integrity of the sport, especially at a time when before we were getting recognition as a legitimate sport. I think it was very important that we get drug testing in place to obviously filter out the cheaters and, like I said, protect the integrity of the sport. So it's important for me to wear this jacket. I've been waiting for it, so it's good to get it here at home. So let's go.
Mike over here.
Hey,
how's it going?
Hey, James.
So we spoke on Friday, and I know it was, you knew you were going to be on this card, but it's just a question of the opponent. When did you actually find out it was Nico? Because obviously it was sort of last minute that the fight got put together.
I lied to you.
Yeah,
I knew, but I just wasn't sure. I kind of wanted to wait for the UFC to announce it. I just wasn't sure. With everything that we talked about with the Seattle curse for me, I'm just like, I'm going to wait until they announce it so I don't get ahead of myself. So I found out about the fight. I believe it was Thursday. So it had been like 8 days from the time I got the call that Carlston was out until the time that that I had gotten the call that Nico was in. So I knew. I'm sorry for lying to you, James.
No, don't worry.
It'll never happen again.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Well, yeah, this is the last one. So
yeah.
There we go. But you did mention, though, that there were other opponents. Was that also a lie, or was it always just Nico?
No, there was other guys. I mean, they haven't announced. So there was 4 fighters that needed short notice replacements, including me, and they haven't announced. I know who those guys are, but they haven't announced the fights for them. So that I'm not in a place to kind of reveal that. I think
100%.
I don't want to get myself in hot water with Sean. So, but there was a fighter that's fighting on the Apex card. The week after me that needed an opponent, but things just the way the card shuffled. This is just how it panned out. So it was Nico Price for me.
If Colby Covington was offered, would you have taken that fight for your retirement fight?
I would fight him right now if he walked in, and I would still fight Nico Price on Saturday.
Okay.
It's a drop of a hat. I would do it right now.
You look at the way this card's structured, it is really local based, which is really cool, right? Especially from people from the Pacific Northwest. You got Julian, yourself, Lance, Chase Hooper, Ricky Simone, the list goes on. What's that like, having your retirement fight here and seeing sort of a passing of the guard where there's still a lot of local talent here that's continuing to sort of carry that torch?
Dude, it's awesome. I mean, it's like a perfect scenario. Last year, we had, when you talk about the Seattle curse, look at how many fallouts in terms of fights we've had from the Seattle card last year to the one this year. And I think Ricky Simone was like the only guy kind of waving the Washington flag last year. So it's pretty cool having Julian, having Terrence, having Chase, Ricky, and obviously particularly Terrence, for people that don't know, which I'm sure they do, I coached Terrence in high school, and it's just like a full circle moment to be sharing a card with him here in Seattle, down the street from the Tacoma Dome where he won 2 state titles. So that one is particularly really special for me, but it's awesome to be on the same card as, like, it's not like they're like the young bucks, but it's like the generation kind of below me, maybe aside from Julian. We were kind of coming up at the same time. So it's definitely kind of a full circle moment for me. And it's a, like I've said this whole week, this everything is lining up on this card to be like the perfect finale for my fighting career.
Julian talked about on the regional scene, you guys competing for cage sport back in the day when that was an active promotion. What do you remember about that? And how cool is it now that, like, here you are fighting at Climate Pledge, like they have this new arena? Like, I don't think you could have even imagined you'd get to be in an opportunity like this that many years ago.
No, it's crazy. Cause like cage sport was such a big deal when we were coming up. Like, you drive down the freeway, and like Emerald Queen Casino's right off to the left, and it's a pretty big venue for a regional show. And I remember my first time going to a fight at Emerald Queen Casino for Cage Sport, and a couple of my teammates had some good fights, particularly my friend Mike Sims. He fought Baby J, and it was a really good fight, and it was a big crowd, and it was super crazy. And yeah, it was definitely one of those moments where I'm like, man, like I was obviously thinking UFC, you know, when I first started training, but I was like, man, someday I hope I can fight an Emerald Queen. And my last fight before I got into the UFC, before I got on the Ultimate Fighter, was actually a Cage Sport fight. Rick actually had to talk me into doing it. It was a short notice fight at like 185, and he was just like, dude, you're gonna smash this guy, just go fight this dude. And
wow,
he kind of had to twist my arm and force me into it, and I'm glad I did, so I can kind of check that off the list.
Okay, and last one for me. It's official today. They announced that the Sonics, they are going to be proceeding forward with getting a franchise. I know you're torn on this. We talked about this in our interview, but it's still got to be cool, and they got to go back to those retro uniforms, don't you think? That blue or the green and yellow is just great colors.
You got to get back to the retro colors, and it's just good for the city. Like Seattle is such a good sports city, and especially, you know, on the back end of the Super Bowl win, I think it's a perfect time to insert the Sonics back into the sports market here. But that's going to be very exciting. I'm looking forward to catching some games at Climate Pledge. It's, for people that haven't been there, it's a beautiful venue. Very fitting for the Sonics to come back. So we'll see what happens where my alliances go between the Sonics and the Knicks.
Do you have an all-time dream matchup that never came to fruition in the UFC through all your years in the promotion?
Take a wild guess. I think we can all answer that question. I'm not even going to say his name. He robs me of my headlines for my interviews, but he ain't fighting. He's retiring, and in my opinion, I already beat him. He turned down a fight against me for the Ultimate Fighter finale. So in my eyes, I'm going into this fight on a 4-fight win streak and looking to close it out with 5. So you already know what that answer is.
What about a favorite or most memorable win or fight in the UFC?
Oh, without a doubt, it was my Ultimate Fighter finale. That's just so hard to beat. Everything that went into that tournament, and having the finale be on my mom's birthday. I mean, you can't script stuff like that. So that's one's pretty hard to beat. I kind of always said, like, I don't know what it's like to win a world championship. I got relatively close, but I still think that even if I had won a world title, I don't think it ever would have been better than that. I mean, that was just a very special fight for me during a very challenging time in my family's lives. So definitely that finale fight.
And I think, in my opinion, the Pacific Northwest is a very underrated MMA hotbed. Like, people talk about Dagestan and the Caucasus, Brazil, obviously, but you've got Demetrius Johnson and so many other amazing fighters from the Pacific Northwest. I guess, could you give me your take on the Pacific Northwest as an MMA like zone of action, and how it's changed since your time coming up in the game and now?
That's a great question. So UFC 1 was in 1993. AMC Pancration started in 1991, I believe. So hopefully I don't get corrected on that. But our roots in MMA run so deep here in the Pacific Northwest. A lot of long time, amateur shows. We had a very long running amateur circuit. One of my best friends almost fought Demetrius Johnson as an amateur for a promotion over here on the West Side. So we've always kind of been ahead of the 8 ball in terms of MMA talent here. And it's funny because a lot of us Pacific Northwest fighters, we have very similar styles. You talk about myself, Juliana Pena, Misha Tate, even if you want to throw it back to Brian Caraway, there's a lot of guys that like Dennis Hallman, a lot of grappling based fighters, a lot of gritty fighters come out of this state. But obviously the sport's evolving, and we're seeing much more well-rounded mixed martial artists in this new generation. But our roots run deep here. I mean, even my teammate in the back, Austin Arnett, we've been fighting as amateurs since, the early 2000s. And when you tell people that, it's almost kind of unheard of that, that there's amateur circuits that go back that far. So it's not uncommon to run into a fighter from Washington that's got a lot more fights than their Tapology says. So our roots run deep here. It's a hot market. And when you go to Climate Pledge for a UFC event, you'll see why. You pair the roots of our MMA roots paired with the fact that Washington fans are absolutely wild. That's what makes these events so special.
Thanks, and congrats on your career.
Thank you.
Hello, sir.
Hey.
One question about your jacket. So what was the weirdest place that doping officers met you?
Oh, shit. That's a good question, too. There's some times that were a little precarious that I'd rather not say, but I'd say the weirdest place I probably ever got a drug test was when I was getting my thigh tattoo worked on, and they had to do blood and urine. So as I'm getting my leg worked on, they came in to test me, and I told my tattoo artist, who's a good friend of mine, I said, hey, we need to take a break so I can do this drug test. And he's like, well, you can wait because I'm not stopping right now. I want to get through this part. So I'm getting my leg blasted on the left side, and they're taking blood on the right side. And by that point, I had a belly full of piss and I had to go. So that was kind of interesting, but it's always funny. Like when you're going through this drug testing process, like we'll be somewhere with our friends. I'm like, oh, babe, I got to go home. I got a drug test. And they'll be like, oh, are you on parole? I'm like, no, I'm in a random drug testing program. I'm not a felon. So that always draws some questions when, you know, you got to tell someone you got to go home to submit a drug test. So that's always kind of interesting, but there's worse, there's better stories, but I just not inclined to say.
And one more question about your clothing. You have a Nirvana t-shirt. So can you pick one Nirvana song that describes your career perfectly?
Oh, I mean, it's kind of, I don't want to say it's like a no-brainer, but Smells Like Teen Spirit, I would say. I think that one's pretty fitting. I do like Come As You Are to just kind of get in the zone. It's kind of got those soft tones, but there's an intensity to it. I've been trying to just like over the course of this camp, like every little post I make on social media, I'm trying to put like a grunge song on there and stuff. So big fan of the grunge era. Love the music, Pearl Jam, Nirvana, Mudhoney, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, list goes on and on. So definitely a big grunge fan.
Thank you. Good luck Saturday.
I love that jersey, by the way. Good choice.
I like it.
My man. Thank you. Thanks, guys.